Alright, real quickly, wanted to talk about XMesh and time remapping with XMesh, specifically with thinking particles. So, what is XMesh? If you do not know, you should. It's pretty amazing. So just go to thinkboxsoftware.com and check out XMesh. So basically it's a geometry caching system. There you go. It saves out animation, any type of animation on any type of geometry. Changing topology is probably the main reason why it's so great, because it supports that, and that's what TP is when you add in like volume breaker and stuff like that. So cool. So what I have here is a scene, just some balls hitting some boxes. It's pretty cool. And I want to time remap it, and I can't because, well, I could export it out, geometry. I get a bunch of geo with keys, and it'll be a mess. And time remapping would take forever. So you want to open up your saver dialog, and first thing is you get all these cool options: geometry, p-flow, frost. So it saves all these things into one object, one clean object that you can mess around with. Alright, first off is point your saver to location. I just made an XMesh folder. I already did, so I'll show you how the hierarchy works. First you point it to the folder, and then here you get three options for naming. This one creates a new directory underneath the folder you pointed the saver to, and then you get another one for versions, and that versions up. That's super useful, considering after you XMesh something, it's not right. Instead of overwriting it or going back in the same thing, same folder, it just versions up every time you XMesh out. So that's pretty cool. And then this is the name of the actual XMesh, the object that you import. So, which I'm gonna rename to time remap. Alright, so then this option is, this will save. So first of all, let's thinking particle groups. Alright, so if you have a bunch of different objects into the save, to save as an XMesh, this will combine all your objects into one XMesh object. If you don't want one, if you want each of these as separate XMesh loaders, separate objects, you just need to go to each object, and then you got world and object space. So I am going to put save all. So let me just do think particle systems. Bring that there. So it's going to save my entire TP setup, all this, into just one object, which is pretty cool. Alright, so second, you want your frame range. Steps is there's sub-steps basically between each frame. Default, that's 1. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to start with that. I'll show you how that works. So let me just save it. Alright, so first thing it'll do is it will hide your the source object and then load in an XMesh loader with your saved geometry. And and here it is. Super fast, and it's all one object. So I could take this thing, and control it. I could even put modifiers on it too. Modify that, which is pretty awesome. Alright, so anyway, now let's get into time remapping. Alright, so I'll throw in the open up your graph, your curve editor, and close that. Alright, so first thing you notice you've got your path, timing, frame loading modes. Okay, first thing is you want to check the graph timing, and as soon as you check that, playback, nothing happens, just because it is relying on a graph to play back the sequence, which unchecked, it just plays the animation. Check it and you get your option for a graph. So you can offset this. Yeah, so you want to go to your end of the animation, turn on auto key, and these represent the frames. So frame length, this recorded to 160, so you want to go to 160, and it makes your graph. So first thing, turn it to linear. There you go, you get playback graph. Now you have the ability to control the timing of it. So I want to start slowing this down. Let's pick a spot like right there. Add a key to your graph. Right there. And start messing with this thing. Alright. Throw some more in there. Alright. Cool. So we got some slowdown, got some slow motion stuff. First thing you'll notice is the rotation is wonky. That's because XMesh interpolates thinking particles on the rotation value differently than regular geometry. It basically grabs the velocity channel a different way, just because how thinking particles is set up. So in order to fix that, that's where your substeps come in. Now this is XMesh 1.0.1. 1.0.2, they actually changed this to a drop down that's it's called, it gives you samples. So from 1 to I think like 200 samples, you have an option. This you can only go up to one substep, and actually it goes in reverse for this version. So just to show you what I mean with the substeps and sampling, I made this scene. This I exported out with version with version 1.0.2. This is 1.0.1. So 1.0.1 has steps. The new XMesh has a drop down for sampling, which goes to 200. So I made this scene. It's got a demonstration, and I exported this out with the new XMesh. It was on another machine, so I don't have it on this one, but basically this was just animated geometry. This is thinking particles with 1 sample, 10 samples, and this is 20. So you could see when I play this back, see when I slow it down to this point, you see 1 sample, 10 samples. The difference between the way XMesh translates the velocity channel on these animated geo is obviously nice and smooth. Geometry is smooth, but thinking particles, you've got just the way it does it. So up the samples, up the steps. Make sure you have a lot of information in between frames. That way you have nice smooth animation. Cool. So let's actually delete that XMesh and turn TP back on, and I'll show you what I mean. So right now it's set to 1. Put this back to 160. One substep, that's captures each animation per frame. This actually, you can go down to, if you're gonna do really slow stuff and you have this version of XMesh, do something like 1.01, which is actually the lowest you can go. That gives you the most information between each frame, and that way you don't get that that jittery in rotation. So you gotta do that and then hit save. I actually already saved out an XMesh with this substeps, so I'll load that up, or I'll just unhide it. Alright, and this is actually, I already put keyframes on it. So here's my little timer map keyframe. This is what it looks like with 0.01 steps. View. Actually, let me just play back. Alright, here it is. Okay. So it's really almost no, see, I even slowed it down really tight right here. And there's almost no frame stamp bullshit. So that is XMesh in a nutshell. Alright, so let me quickly, I'll show you just about time remapping. Open this up. I'm actually going to delete the frames in between. Delete those. Here. Bring this back to 160. Oh, what happened here? 160. Linear. Cool. So once you have your graph, make sure that's checked, and you've got the 0 to your frame range. Oh, yeah, forgot to change that. So back to 160. Bring this 160. There we go. All right. Now we got our animation. See that right? All right. So let's pick a spot. You gotta pick a spot. You want it to start slowing down. Let's start right here. put a keyframe on the graph. You want to move to another spot where you want it to speed back up, about right here. I always want to make those linear when I'm animating them, so I don't have to deal with the curve, Bezier curve. Alright, another spot. Alright, now we want to pick our next spot to slow down. So it looks like right after this hits, this starts slowing down right here. Move forward, it starts to speed back up right here. Right here. Alright. Then one last slowdown. Go about right there. Speeds back up right about here. Cool. Alright, so in between these two little keys, it's going to start to slow down. So first, grab the keys, grab the last bit of keys in between your first part. Stretch them out to as long as you want, how many frames you want it to go. You can even move it down, and make sure you have them all grabbed when you're doing this. Move it down, makes it slower. Actually, moving it down will adjust the spot on where you place the keyframe. So let's just about that. See that blip? That means it did not have enough. This animation didn't have enough subframes in between. So I might have saved this out with like I think 0.05 or something. So that's what it does. If it does not have enough information between frames, it'll blank out. The new version of XMesh doesn't do that. It will just do its best to interpolate, which is good because that sucks. That really sucks. So they fixed that, which is awesome. Alright, anyway, let's just work with it. Whatever. Alright, so it gets down here. And it speeds up again. Alright, next spot we want to slow down. Do the same thing. Grab the last set of keys. Stretch this thing out. Bring our timeline out more. Alright, so then we get this. Nice and slow. Can even go even more than that. Like that. Yeah, that's awesome. Cool, and then one last one. Do the same thing, grab those two, stretch those out. Go further. And the last one goes, pew. Cool. Now you can keep it, each key linear if you like that look. I like to throw some curves on these things. So first thing is grab the first key, give it some tangents, some Bezier tangents. There's that stupid blank frame. That sucks. Whatever. Just pretend it's there. We all know it's there. So this will ease into a nice slow down. And then right here we want to ease back out. So we get slow down, and then it eases back out. I love that nice ease out. It doesn't just pop out, it just eases out. Oh shit. You want it to have that nice smooth out. Alright, same thing with here. Give it just like a nice, just a small curve. Yeah, alright. It's like super slow. That's awesome. Look, I even have deformation on TP, and it supports that. That's too cool. Like when the ball hits, it actually deforms the geometry a bit, and XMesh just supports everything. It's great. All right, so put another ease on this curve, this key. Give it an ease out. Same with this. Ease in. And these aren't just, you know, don't just throw a Bezier ease in, ease out on these keys. You know, give these keys some love. Love them. Spend some time on each key and each tangent. Make sure these things look good. You know, so you're not just throwing like a, you know, you're not just going boop, okay, done. You know, make sure this thing is smooth. Boo. Yeah. That's so smooth. I gotta stop saying smooth. Oh, that's awesome. So it comes out like that. Look at that, man. It's just everything. It reads it so nice. One last little ease out. This comes in, and this comes out like that. Awesome. So here we got. Actually, let me leave that open. I mean, this is just a nice, quick little timer map here. So, I mean, you could spend some time on that. But just for what this is, it's just like, boom. And that's awesome. So you can see a little bit of that shutter right here. It shutters in the rotation. Oh, maybe it's not. Oh, yeah, see. And it comes back out. Alright, so there you go. And you can apply this technique, you know, to any type of animation. It doesn't have to be XMesh, obviously, but it just works so nice on XMesh. Cool. So that, there you go. Let me know if I missed anything, if you have any questions more about XMesh. It really is awesome. It's got so much more than just this timer map or just animation graph. So yeah, cool. Thank you. Goodbye. Yes. For your viewing pleasure, I did render out just a camera pass. It doesn't have any slow motion or anything in it, but just so you could see. I threw in some cameras, animated them. This is before I messed with the time, so check it out. Let me make this. So this is what I came up with.